welcome to ITC Tech Share. I'm Tom Grissom. Today I'd like to continue our discussion of setting up a new OneNote notebook for the academic year. In the last episode, I set up a basic structure for the EIU_1718 notebook. That is the title you can see here in the title bar. So today I would like to go over just some basic navigation and setting up some additional sections to make this a little more useful. Now, the intent of this notebook is for my own private use for the academic year, so this is not going to be a shared notebook. I usually like to have an about this section or about this notebook section, because it just reminds me I work with many different OneNote notebooks, and this one is for university business, essentially for anything during the academic year. So that's what this section and the about page is all about. So first, I'm in the browser right now, so I'm just using, in this case, the Edge browser. You could use Chrome or Firefox or Safari. So this will also work on Chromebooks using just a regular Chrome browser. But just some navigation pieces here. If you look here, this is the little pen icon. It looks kind of like a bulletin board thumbtack. If I click on that, that contracts the menu, and now I have what we call the hamburger menu. If you're in the browser and you see this hamburger menu, if you click on that, that will expand so you can see the individual sections and pages. If I click on it again, it locks it. And if I click on it again as a toggle switch, it will contract once again. So if you want a little more screen real estate and don't need to see the section and pages, you can always contract it. And a lot of times people like to have this off to the side so they can easily navigate. Now, this isn't too useful for me right now because we're just starting out, so let's make this a little bit more useful. In the last episode, I showed you how to use the add section feature, this little plus symbol right here, and plus page to add a page. I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to show you what this looks like in the OneNote app for Windows 10. And I have that already opened down here on my taskbar, so this is going to look slightly different. A lot of commonality, but when I go to the Windows 10 OneNote app, this is the interface. The big thing that sticks out, obviously, first of all, is the plus section and plus page is at the bottom. In the online version, it's at the top. Not a big deal, but it is a change, so easy enough to adjust to that. So let's go through and make this a little more useful. Let me add some of the common sections that I know that I'm going to need for this academic year. So first of all, this is where it says New Section. If I right-click, I can rename the section in the app just like I can on the browser. And I'm going to make this one called ITC. Since the Instructional Technology Center is the main purpose for this notebook, I'm going to click, hold, and drag that section so it's above the About This notebook. Now, the reason I like to have my most used section at the top is by default, whenever you go into the OneNote notebook, it will open up to the topmost section and topmost page. Let's make it a little bit more useful here. Let me come out here, and another section that I need is CEPS Dean. This is for the College of Education and Professional Studies Dean's Office. I do a lot of work with that, so I dedicated a section for that. Once again, I clicked off of it. I need to rename this CEPS Dean, and you must press Enter in the Windows 10 app for the section name in order for it to stick. Let's go out, and I do a lot of committee work with various committees, so let's add a section for CEPS Technology Committee, and I'm abbreviating these because this collapsed to the left and right, so just something that makes sense. And once again, I need to rename that. I didn't press Enter, so let me rename section CEPS Tech Committee, press Enter. That locks in that change. Let's go out and add a section for ATAC, that's the Academic Technology Advisory Committee, which I'm a member of and do a lot of work for. And let's make a new section for inventory, doing a lot of work tracking computers and asset tags and things, so I always have a dedicated section for that. And I always have a section for research, so if I come across something interesting, I'll place it out there, RESEARCH. Talk and type here at the same time. And then let's do one more, and then we'll call this good. You kind of get the idea. Very easy. You just click on the plus section, and let's do VDI, Virtual Device Infrastructure. That's another project we have going on here at the university that I do a lot of work with. Now, I'll probably add another dozen or so sections out here as the year goes along, but you can kind of see now that it's very easy to navigate. I can just click on whatever section. So now I'm in the CPS Dean. Let me go to the ATAC section. You can see that it's highlighted. I don't have any pages out here yet, but as I add content, I will add to the pages for each individual section. It makes a very nice organized way to organize your content. Everything's in one place, and because it's cross-platform, I have access to any browser, so it doesn't matter whether I'm using a Mac, a PC, a Chromebook device. I can also access it on an Android or iOS device. They make specific apps for that as well. So it's very functional and cross-platform, which is a big plus in today's BYOD, bring your own device world. So that's just kind of the basics. Navigation-wise, if you see this little left arrow, if I click on that, that will take me back to the individual notebooks and things that I have available out here. And then to go back to the actual section, I just click on where I would like to go. And then in this particular app, there is a full screen mode, this double-headed arrow up here in the upper right-hand corner. If I click on that, that will take me to full screen mode, gives me my drawing pens. So if I have a device with an individual pen, I can come up here, select it, and go to whatever device it is. The arrows pointing toward the middle is the contract, and that will take me into that. So this one, in this particular case, let me go back here. Let me go back to one other section. Let's go to about this notebook. So I'll leave it here. You can see that the share message popped up over here. Right now, I have not shared this notebook with anyone, and it's not my intent to share this particular one. Like I said, it's for my own personal use. However, if I did want to share this with a coworker, I could click on that, and I showed you an example of using a view-only link in a previous episode. So let's just go ahead and click the X out of this, since this is not meant to be shared, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. So this is stored to OneDrive. That's where I created this OneNote notebook. So if I come back over here to my browser, you can see here that this browser is now updated. You may need to refresh occasionally, but now then it's available on the browser. It's available on my phone. It'll be synced up to the cloud. And then once again, I have it available on the app. And we'll just stop there and wrap it up for today. So until next time, this is Tom Grissom. Keep on learning.